Am I the a-hole for changing my RSVP for my sister's wedding from yes to no? My sister is getting married in January. She sent the invites last month and I RSVP'd yes. We're not close, so it was more about me being there because it's what you do than actually wanting to be there. But soon after, my husband and I regretted our response. My sister has chosen the clothes for each immediate member of her and her fiancé's family to buy, and has said we will be turned away if we don't comply. My dress is $350. My husband's suit is $290. Our daughter's 6 dress $120, and our son's 4 and 1 were going to be in $80 suits. Then she informed the family on top of the cost of our clothes that she had passed on the discount for room so she could invite more people to the wedding. And a single room is $200 for the night. Double rooms are $300, and the family room is $500. And that she already went to the effort of securing us those rooms, and we would need to pay the money for them by November 1st to secure the rooms. My husband told me she was crazy, and that was an insane amount of money. I told her it was a lot and we couldn't afford all that. She told me we had to, otherwise we will be driving 6 hours home after her wedding. My parents offered to pay for our hotel room, and then she sent us the link of the gift we must buy for her. It's $600 and can only be bought online and includes shipping, or we'd have to drive to another state to pick it up. My parents told her it was unreasonable to expect this much from all of us. They spent $800 on both their outfits, then the $300 on their room, the $500 in ours. And added to that, they were told to buy a $1,000 gift for them. She said it was reasonable to expect your family to make your special day a good one, and we should all do this for her. Then she added a jab about at least they have a reason to dress up and look nice, unlike when I got married and didn't even bother with a big day. My husband and I highly debated pulling out of the wedding entirely, and we agreed to just ignore the demands and show up anyway. But then she announced that my parents, husband and I were being put in charge of paying for their honeymoon as our contribution to the wedding, and their honeymoon package came to about $2,500. Right after that, I sent another message that our RSVP was going from a yes to a no, and we would not be able to afford all this. And since she's being so demanding of our money and insisting we would be turned away without the correct clothes on, we feel it's best we are not there. It has exploded. She is furious that I'm saying I won't go to her wedding, and said changing your RSVP doesn't work, it is wrong. She's giving me and our parents hell over this. I feel bad in parts because I know I never really wanted to go in the first place, and it's making me wonder if I'm showing that and pulling out isn't the right move. Am I the a-hole? Now for the top comments. Not the a-hole. This wedding entitlement is getting crazy. I don't know where people get the nerve to demand a ton of money from others. Her fiancé's family had a pretty huge demand on them too. I was blown away. It doesn't surprise me too much from her, but I never got the idea he was that demanding. Not stay home. I'm kinda hoping someone films this wedding and it becomes a viral YouTube bridezilla hot mess, but you can enjoy from the safe comfort of your home. The terms of your acceptance have changed. I'd politely reply that unfortunately you'll no longer be able to attend as you're not able to meet her vision of her day. Send her a lovely card and a gift of your choosing, and in your budget on the day, and leave it there. A wedding does not make a marriage. A honeymoon does not make a marriage. Spending lots of money does not make a marriage. Maybe you can have a small family dinner when she's back from her honeymoon to celebrate, and so she can share photos, etc. You're more generous than I would be. They'd just receive a card from me, nothing more. The sense of entitlement, my god. She legit says that you have to buy her a $600 gift, and then thinks you're going to pay for the honeymoon? Plus more than $1,000 in wardrobe expenses. To call her deluded is an insult to the deluded. Don't second-guess yourself, and look after your family. As we all know, that money is better spent on things other than your sister's honeymoon and suits for toddlers. Next story is titled, Am I the a-hole for demanding my sister's husband to pay for my girlfriend's dress that he ruined at his wedding? My 23 male sister, female 26, recently got married to one of those "it's just a prank bro" guys. The guy is hysterical. He laughs at any and everything that he lays eyes on. He jokes, teases, makes fun, and pulls very, very nasty and cruel pranks all the time. It's like he has no filter. Some said he's mentally ill, especially after he started telling jokes at his own father's funeral, and almost caused my sister to get injured from his count the stairs prank. Me and the family got our fair share of his ridiculous pranking campaign, and we've had enough. But to him, it's not enough apparently. The kids love him and say he's fun, so that's one positive thing about him. The wedding was days ago. Once he learned I was bringing my girlfriend who he teased/pranked a couple of times, he started making comments about pulling some funny pranks at the wedding. I told him I won't react well, but he can do with this info what he will. He just laughed me off, ha 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 type of laugh. Then I didn't see him till the wedding. After the ceremony, and while the guests were eating, he saw me and my girlfriend standing talking to several guests and mutual friends, and he approached us with a glass of milk in his hand, no idea why he had it, and kept commenting on me and my girlfriend. He invited me to propose to her right then, so the memory of my proposal will always be overshadowed by his wedding. Then said, "Relax, just a joke, bro," then laughed. My girlfriend was standing next to me in her $320 dress, when my brother-in-law pointed to the left and shouted, "Look, there's a dog over there." Me and my girlfriend looked to the left, and the next thing I knew, he threw milk from his glass on her dress. It was a blue dress. My girlfriend was so shocked she froze. He started laughing, saying, "Gotcha." I was stunned. Then I asked the hell he did that for. I lashed out at him as my girlfriend rushed to clean up, and I called him obnoxious and mean because he shouldn't have done that. He said it was just messing with us, and my girlfriend should feel lucky for being served milk at a wedding. But my girlfriend was being too uptight and couldn't take a joke. She left looking angry and didn't respond to my calls. I was livid. After my argument with my brother-in-law, I left. The next day, I called him and my sister about what happened and told them I'm expecting him to pay $320 for the dress he ruined. He threw a fit, saying it was just a prank, and my sister said milk doesn't ruin a dress and said an apology should do it. But I said no, and demanded he pay $320 after humiliating and getting my girlfriend wet and messy. My sister argued, saying I'm being overprotective of my girlfriend, but I hung up, telling them they had till Friday. Am I the a-hole? Edited to add, my girlfriend doesn't work. Her parents paid for her dress, and so they're equally as upset as her, if not more. My sister said my girlfriend and her parents shouldn't be spending that much on a dress if they can't handle the possibility of it being ruined by any chance. My girlfriend is 20 years old. I offered to get the dress cleaned, but she said she no longer wants it due to the bad memory attached to it, since she wore it for the first time that day. She suffers from anxiety and depression, so I get why she no longer feels comfortable keeping it. Not a day home. Visit him regularly and perform a costly prank at his expense each time until he relents, pays for the dress, and begs you to stop ruining his stuff. It will be hilarious. Oops, I dumped a beer on your PS5. Gotcha. A prank war with this kind of a-hole will never work, because his pranks are just malicious events. This is the kind of guy who won't think anything of pouring sugar in a gas tank and slashing tires. Trying to keep up with him will just cost Opie too much, mentally, emotionally, and financially. Better for Opie to let sister know he'll be there when she needs help to escape the marriage, and then go low contact/no contact. Not a a-hole. Throwing milk on someone isn't a prank. Brother-in-law is just an a-hole who gets off on upsetting people and humiliating them. Stand firm. If you marry anyone ever, I would strongly consider not inviting your sister and brother-in-law. Not a a-hole. Formal dresses cannot just be washed. I'd ask for payment for a dry clean to see if it works. The bigger issue is brother-in-law running around doing ignorant things like this. Super rude and inconsiderate, and destructive. Not a a-hole. This guy is obnoxiously toxic. Get your receipts in order. If he doesn't pay for a replacement, send him to small claims. I have no idea why everyone puts up with this guy's behavior, but he needs to start taking responsibility for his terror. These are not pranks. I'd also recommend going low contact/no contact after this. Next story. Am I the a-hole for backing out of attending my son's wedding because his brother isn't invited? I have two sons, Isaiah 22 and Daniel 24. They had a great childhood together, save for typical siblings disagreements, but nothing out of the ordinary. They grew up in a big family with loving parents and aunts and uncles and cousins on both sides. However, as they entered their teenage years, they started resenting each other for outside reasons because there was no issues at home. Daniel was seeing a young lady when he was 20 who was his high school sweetheart, even after school that he planned to get engaged to. But it never happened because Isaiah lied to her about Daniel stealing from her parents, and she and her parents believed him. Turned out Isaiah was the one who stole jewelry from Daniel's ex-girlfriend's parents' house and pinned it on Daniel. As a result, her parents filed a police report and Daniel suffered from the lie Isaiah told to get back at him for selling his bike that originally belonged to Daniel. They were both legally adults when this happened, and we were told to stay out of their conflict, but we couldn't help but get caught up in the middle. Eventually, the boys stopped seeing or talking to each other. Daniel lives in a rental apartment, while Isaiah is still in college, but both boys are in contact with me and the family. Daniel is getting married this month. He sent me, his dad, and everyone else in the family an invitation except for Isaiah. I called Daniel to ask him. I assumed he probably didn't send Isaiah an invitation, but expected him to accompany me and my husband. He told me no, he intended to not invite his brother because he doesn't want him at his wedding. I felt heavy because Isaiah already apologized and sought forgiveness and gave Daniel time and space to reconcile, but Daniel kept ignoring him, saying he wanted nothing to do with him. I explained how I felt he was being too harsh on his brother, and he told me to not pressure him about it and respect his decision. I didn't pressure him, but informed him that since Isaiah isn't invited, then I'm not coming to the wedding. Daniel threw a fit about how I was trying to corner him into inviting Isaiah, but I replied that I wasn't. I wasn't trying to pressure him or trying to change his mind, I was just letting him know. He lashed out, calling me unbelievable for making his wedding about Isaiah and not respecting his wishes. He added that I was selfish for putting Isaiah's feelings over his, and on his wedding no less. We argued. Then he hung up after telling me if I don't attend, then he'll never speak to me again. We haven't talked since then, and my husband agrees that Daniel is the one complicating things, and not being graceful towards his brother who wants to share his happy day with him. So one son tried to ruin the other son's life with multiple lies, and you were pissed he wasn't invited to the wedding? You're the a-hole. OP this. It's as simple as it gets. You and your husband should stay out of their relationship. Just know this, OP. You are jeopardizing any chance of a relationship you could have with grandchildren if Daniel ends up having children. You won't forget that you sided with his brother who tried to ruin his life, but you insisted on having a relationship that Daniel simply could not do. You're the a-hole, OP. Seriously? What the heck? 100% this. You're the a-hole in all accounts, OP, and it frustrates me that you didn't possess the common sense to know this beforehand. But here we are. I guess that it serves as a helpful reminder to the rest of us of what not to do. So in that rather negative sense, I still appreciate how your post contributed to the overall discussion around morality. Isaiah is not owed and does not deserve Daniel's forgiveness. Neither do you for continually trying to pretend like what Daniel did was excusable. If you don't go to that wedding, you will never know your grandkids. I dearly hope the family Daniel's marrying into are good people, because you are not. Oh yeah, you're an a-hole in this, and so is your husband. Mostly because you're siding with a brother who quite literally committed a crime and used Danny as a scapegoat. It got ties with him as well. So yes, you're a nice big ol' a-hole. You probably ruined your relationship with your son. At least you have a criminal in your corner. Congrats. Now for the last story. Am I the a-hole for ruining my brother's wedding? My 20 female brother Nate, 28 male, is going to get married to his fiancée, Emily, 32 female, in a week. I was extremely close to my brother growing up, and he's my favorite out of all my siblings. However, when he started dating Emily, we kinda grew apart, but we still talk often. Emily, on the other hand, we don't get along at all. She hasn't done anything to me. I haven't done anything to her. We just don't see eye to eye on things. They're having a child-free wedding, but in Emily's eyes, a child is anyone under 21 years old. I know, dumb rule. Originally, I wasn't allowed to be there for the ceremony or reception, but I told Nate how much it would hurt to not be there for his big day, so he ended up convincing Emily to let me stay for the ceremony. We had a family dinner earlier this week, and Emily brought up that she would like to have a daycare service for the children of her guests at the wedding. And somehow she mentioned that she would love for me and my boyfriend, 20 male, to look over the kids. My boyfriend and I love children. We're actually studying to become a teacher and pediatrician. We were on board with it, until we heard that we'd be watching 40-ish kids for 6 hours and only get paid $50 each. We agreed that we'd do it for $150 each, but Emily insisted on her original offer. And then Nate got involved, saying he told Emily that we'd be happy to watch the children, and it would save them a lot of money and how it's too late for them to find a different sitter. The more I refused, the angrier Emily got. She proceeded to tell me that I was being a greedy, selfish brat, and that I should be paying her, since she'd be giving me practice for my teaching career. And then she said if I don't do this, I will ruin her wedding and won't be welcome at the ceremony. At this point, the dinner was ruined. My boyfriend's uncomfortable, I'm pissed, and the entire restaurant is staring at our table because Emily's practically screaming. We paid for our food and went home. Now here's where I may be the a-hole. I honestly don't care about babysitting. In fact, I would probably do it for free. My entire family knows this, and that's why they're so mad at me right now. My phone has been blowing up all evening, telling me that I should want to do anything that will make my brother's wedding perfect, and I'm being a childish a-hole. Sure, it sucks, I'll probably not be at the wedding, but I'm sick of Emily being a witch to me. I feel bad for putting Nate in this position, and I hope this doesn't ruin our relationship too much, but it is what it is. I know I'm kinda childish about this, however, I do not think I'm being an a-hole. So, what do you guys think? Am I the a-hole for ruining my brother's wedding and potentially our relationship? Not the a-hole. WTF? They don't want you to attend the wedding, but you're allowed to work it? If she thinks 20 is a child, tell her it's irresponsible to have a child in charge of 40 other children and decline. I'm being really stupid here, but if it's a child-free wedding, why are there 40 children there? Edit. Never mind. I found a comment from Opie saying her boyfriend would watch the 40 kids alone during the ceremony, then Opie would help the rest of the time. I've got to say, this sounds like a cluster duck in the making, regardless of what Opie does. So you, a 20-year-old, can't attend your brother's wedding because it's child-free, but you have to babysit 40 kids? Do it practically for free. Because Nate, who you're close to, told his fiancé you would without checking with you. And now your family's insisting you're ruining the wedding because you refused? 1, Nate is an A. His fiancé is being an absolute brat to his sister and is doing nothing to stop it. If his wedding is ruined, they are the cause, not you. 2, it would appear that Nate is not as close to you as you think. 3, it's bad enough they voluntold you. How dare they plan your boyfriend's time for him too? 4, the fact that they're pushing despite your refusal is a sign they're even bigger a-hole than we initially thought. Don't back down, Opie. Begin as you mean to go along with Emily. If you give in now, you'll end up being the de facto doormat/sitter. Tell Nate you're sorry to miss his wedding, but you'll be there for his next. Not today, home.